Hey guys, Mike here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to change the oil on your 2022 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD with the 6.6 gas motor. I bought this truck new last year. I think it had like 6 miles on it. Waited like 6 months for it, but now I've got 18,000 miles on it. I usually do like 4,000 mile oil change intervals. But I've heard some people on YouTube say how they use oil and stuff. I've never had that problem with this truck. I usually drive it pretty easy. You know, my wife says I drive like a grandpa, but that's yet to be determined. But I'm going to show you how to do it basically and how easy it is. And my biggest thing is I really don't save any money doing it myself, but I know that it's done the way I want it done. And I'm just going to show you what I use here. What I'm using here is the SuperTech oil from Walmart, the Walmart brand. I do use the Dexos 1 Gen 3. That's what they call for in the owner's manual. PF63 AC Delco filter, 15 millimeter wrench for the drain plug, 3/8 ratchet and a short extension, and the little socket there for the oil filter, drain pan, and some rags. It's going to take 8 quarts. And when we're done, I'm going to put the old oil back in the empty jugs, and I'm going to show you how much oil it used. And this is almost 5,000 miles on this oil change. I'm a little behind on this one, but it's like 4,950 or something. But okay, guys, here we are under the truck. You can see the oil filter. You can see the drain plug. Typically, I take the filter off first because every time I drain the oil first, I always drop the freaking filter in the oil and it splashes everywhere. And I make a huge mess. Like that's like my thing. I always make messes, and this oil is pretty hot. I just drove the truck probably 20 minutes ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and screw that off. Oh my god! Nope, just ruined it. Now we're going to pull the drain plug. There's this 15 millimeter wrench, and these are pretty cool too because they have just a little bit more there. They have a spot in the drain plug here if you ever were to round this out, or you can put a Torx bit in there and still get it out. Okay, so I let that drip for probably 5 minutes. Looks like it's pretty much done. So here's my filter, okay? So what I'm going to have my wife's out here helping me, but she's going to put some oil inside here. She's going to fill it about 3/4 of the way full. And then I'm going to wipe a little bit of oil on this rubber seal, just so when you slide it up on there and tighten it down, it doesn't, kind of grab the gasket and twist it and make it leak. And also, I looked up here where the oil filter was at and made sure the old gasket isn't stuck up here, because if you get that stuck and you double gasket, it'll leak every time, and you don't want that. And it's on the filter. The filter's down in the pan yet, but here, she's going to put some oil in there for me. I'm going to spin her right up on there. And when I tighten these, I get it hand tight. want to wipe this off. I got my drain plug here. I mean, you can replace these O-rings on these. I've never had a problem. Any vehicle I've ever had, I've never had to change the O-ring on these, and I've never had one leak out of the plug. Just gonna get her good and snug there. Wipe off the excess. And you can see black stuff on the bottom of this oil pan. Well, what that is undercoating, overspray from undercoating. I had the dealership undercoat this truck, and they really didn't do that great of a job, like masking stuff off and not getting it everywhere, but it is what it is, I guess. Okay guys, we got the drain plug in, oil filter back on down there. Now we're going to go fill the engine up with oil. The fill cap is right here on the driver's side on the valve cover, and it says right here what oil to use. I got to get a ladder to reach this because these trucks are freaking tall. And you can see it says on there Dexos 5W30 full synthetic. So it's like a long transmission fill funnel, and I've cut some of the bottom off so the oil runs out a little faster because it's way down there. The easiest way to do it. I'll just lay it against that right there. I'm going to get my 5-quart jug here. I'm going to dump this one in first. All 5 quarts, remember it takes 8. If I can do this without spilling it. Like I said, typically I make a mess. Maybe I'll get lucky today. So now we got 5 quarts in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my next jug, and you can see right here where it says 3 quarts. You can see where it says 3 quarts. And I'm going to fill it up to that 3-quart mark, and I'm going to dump the next 3 in. And that's going to make 8. Okay guys, I got my 3 quarts dumped in this bottle. You can see the 3-quart mark, and it's really close. I'm going to go ahead and dump that in. Okay, there's that. We're going to pull this funnel out of here, drop it right in there. We're going to replace the oil cap. Usually those only go on about 1/4 of a turn until they stop. I want to clean up my little bit of oil in here. Okay guys, now what I always do after I change the oil is I always check it on the dipstick, and it's going to be a little bit high because you haven't circulated it through. The oil filter's not all the way full. But what we're going to do is I'm going to pull the dipstick out, make sure it's full, and I'm going to look under the truck and start it. We'll start it, then look under the truck. And just to make sure no oil is leaking out from the drain plug or the oil filter. And after that, I'll let it sit there and warm up for a minute, then I'll shut it off and leave it set for 5-10 minutes, and I'll check it again and make sure it's full. Then you're good to go. I always reset my trip odometer because it's got an A and a B, and I leave one of them on reset it every time I do the oil changes. But Okay guys, here we are in the shop. I'm going to dump that oil into that thing right there until it gets 3 quarts. And then I'm going to dump that into my oil barrel and I'm going to fill it up again. And see how close to 8 quarts we are of oil we drained out of that truck. My lovely wife Rosie's going to help me here. She's going to tell me when to stop pouring.
Stop.
A little bit too much? Oh, that's pretty close. A little bit more than 3. So we're going to take this, I'm going to dump it out, and I'm going to pour the rest in there and see if we can get 5 quarts back in it. Okay guys, so here's this second jug of oil. I've already drained the 3 quarts out in there, dumped it in my oil barrel. So here's the second filling of the jug. So 3 and 5 quarts is going to make 8. That's what the truck holds. And I'm just wanting to make sure it had somewhat close to 8 quarts we drained out of it. And you can see the oil levels right in there. This is the old oil, and it stops at 4 quarts as far as labeling it here on this sight glass. So here's a new jug of oil. I can prove it to you right there. It's still got the cap on it. 5 quarts, says it right there. And it's pretty darn close to the same level. It's a touch lower. Like I said, a little bit in there yet. A little bit in the drain pan, you know. I would say it was less than half a quart low when I drained it. Like I said, it had 4,900 miles on this oil change. I usually try to catch them at 4,000, but it's just been a busy last couple weeks. I've never had to add any oil in between oil changes. I've done the first oil change on this truck at 1,000 miles, and after that it's been 4,000, 4,200 right in there. Right now it's got 4,900 on this oil, and like I said, I checked it like a week ago. It was still full. And there's 8 quarts I drained out of there. So I say the guys that say these 6.6 gases in the Chevys use oil under normal circumstances, I would say they're full of shit. Thank you for watching my video. Take care. Good night. God bless. Adios. Hasta la vista. Whatever you want to say.